Game number one, everybody. Boluo going up against SPT here at Gold League. So, just to recap once again for you guys, Boluo is currently, well, it's our European team playing in China pretty much. Gold League is a Chinese tournament. If you watched a few of the videos already on YouTube, you're probably well aware of that. And there is a requirement, you have to have at least 2 Chinese players in a team, and the players have to be physically present in Taiwan or China. So we had actually our Swedes travel to Taiwan, where they currently stay, and try to make it into the round of 8 here. And with Gia having dual citizenship, they fulfill that requirement with adding 365 to their lineup. So having Shrimpy, Poik, and Whoopi playing together with Gia and 365 in China right now. And today, it was pretty much a big match for them. They're going up against SPT here, which is definitely the toughest game they had so far. So Gold League was a massively open tournament where we had more than 160 teams committing to, and the early rounds therefore were a little bit stompy since there were a lot of amateur teams and teams that just played for fun here. But now we're slowly and steadily getting into the thick of things. And last week already we had a pretty tough match for Boluo. They took the second game not quite that serious and lost it. And then the third map, well, there was a bit of an incident around Garrosh, as you might remember, so that caused then Boluo to claim the series with a 2-1 victory, as the admins ruled in their favor after a pick on a hero that the rules excluded from the draft. As we're heading into our today's match, again, this is the important one. I mean, SPT, these guys definitely know what they're doing. They've been playing that game for a long time. They have been playing HTC China, and we're heading into our first game with an immediate pick on Tyrande. Now you can already tell that with the bans we are still shifting slightly. Zeratul is open, for example, and we also have Rexa banned out, which highlights once again that the hero is seeing a lot more popularity recently. And Nubarak plus Reyna as the early picks for SPT here, as they're trying to control the draft that way. Yeah, the noob engage in general is just incredibly powerful, and there's a reason why the hero oftentimes gets even banned. But in this particular case, with the opening on the side of Tyrande, we already have a lot of objective potential here for Boluo as we're heading into the next setup. For me, the question is really, do you play around... well, it's already answered. I'm not going to play around Zeratul or anything like it. We're actually seeing Sylvana chosen again, plus an early Thrall to boot. So Shrimpy currently playing with Thrall here. I gotta be honest with you, it's not quite the rotation that I expected, considering that they're going up against one of their toughest opponents so far. And the teams that qualify here make it into the round of 8 and will actually play at the offline part of the event. So the early Sylvanas pick, definitely a bit of a surprise, considering how many burst mages and other heroes are still open. You could have gone for Liming here. We could have at the same time seen, for example, a Jaina paired off with Gia's Tyrande. So it's interesting to see that Poik is going immediately for that Sylph. Now then again, Sylph can of course accelerate that game quite easily, and also is packing quite the punch in the hands of a skilled player. ETC gets banned out, so does Malfurion, so limiting the support options even more for SPT after Ana got already eliminated. Malfurion is now out too. And those three, Tyrande, Malfurion and Ana, definitely are currently the top healers in the game, generally speaking. Rhaegar is oftentimes a close second. The Chinese value Uther also a little bit higher than the Europeans do at this point in time. Didn't expect the old man to be picked. He has fallen off pretty heavily, and oh my god, SPT actually go into Artanis here. I mean, again, amateur opponent gives you the value on your objective, there's no doubt about that. But that is not quite the draft that I expected on this level. Again, we're talking former HTC players on both sides right now, and this is an important match for sure. It is a best of 3 as we're heading into this, but Deckard, Kane and Artanis. Interesting setup for the Chinese. Now we have 365 on the offlane with Arthurs, and we're seeing Whoopi again in the main tank role these days, playing Garrosh for the team. So a triple melee line, which very likely is going to bring Shrimpy into the 4-man for Crash Lightning to be a valid choice as his level 1 talent, and he's going to be one of the main damage dealers together with Poik on Sylvanas. With that said, we're now heading into the last pick on the side of SPT, and they still need a bit of damage. They can't only rely on Reyna here for the damage output, and it's Liming. So they're going to be looking for the resets, they're going to be looking for the long-range poke, as we're heading into game number 1 of a super important match here between Boluo, the Swedish team, and SPT here in China at the Gold League. Game on as we are heading into Battlefield of Eternity, our first map, and as we entering game number 1 of the best of 3 series, once again, quickly the little disclaimer here, I'm not actually physically in the client or in the lobby, since all of this is taking part on the Chinese side, and obviously they're controlling their own production, but they're providing us with a clean feed. That, on the other hand, also means that I don't have any influence on the observer UI that is being used here, so we're back to the old HCC UI, which unfortunately doesn't give us information about stacks like the UI does that we used for Meta Madness, for the Nut Cup, and also for Division S. So I won't be able to show you how much damage Sylvanas really does here, how many stacks Thrall has. Sometimes the observer shows that, but I don't have any direct influence on that. So just so you guys are aware of that little thing, as we're actually having a bit of a commitment topside already for the turret. Well, free show is pretty low, and 365 also has already suffered. Here comes the swap. Oh, Nathanis actually saved himself with that little move right there. Okay, so when it comes to the talents though, we are actually having a couple of adjustments right from the get-go. I mean, obviously the amateur opponent is something that you would expect getting into Battlefield of Eternity. I talked already during the draft a bit about the likelihood of having Thrall go into Trash Lightning, since obviously he is going to be part of the 4-man. 365 will hold the solo lane for most of the time, thanks to his Arthur's connection there. But if you're looking over to Liming, for example, you realize really quickly that she went into Ether Walk on level 1. So we're not seeing Force Armor, we're not seeing Power Hungry. And that's really a bit of a Chinese touch there, something that we normally don't get to see when you're looking towards the European scene there. So something to keep an eye on. The build might become quite interesting as the game progresses. So with that said, we're having now again another incredibly important match for both of these teams, since the winner will already advance to the offline stage of the tournament. But at this point, let's see how much especially Sylvanas is going to be able to do in this game, as we're starting to move in here. Also, I'm incredibly thankful for the Chinese to provide us with this clean feed in the first place. Allows us to keep track of the adventures of the Swedish boys here in China. It's China versus Europe. It's Sweden versus, Asia versus Europe, Sweden versus China, meatballs versus dumplings. Let's say if those meatballs are strong enough to really do something here. At this point, top side is still a 4-man push. It's an interesting lineup because we have Whoopi solo laning the bot lane as the main tank right now. Obviously, if you have Arthur in that mix, then he is definitely in a position where he can, for a time, take that main tank role too. Normally it's ill-advised to have him in that role completely, but at least with the triple melee that they're running here, works out for now. As the first objective is about to be announced, both of the teams are immediately going for the Shaman camp here to apply a bit more pressure onto the lane itself. Top lane has of course already suffered some damage, one turret being down, one tower destroyed thanks to the help of Sylvanas. Shrimpy also with a Frostwolf pack as his level 4 talent. We have possession taken on the other side from Sylvanas. Liming still with the dominance as her level 4 talent choice, so likelihood of calamity definitely increasing here. Doesn't really look like we're going to see anything like an orb build on that end. But Sylvanas is busy at the bot lane, has to deal with a double camp there, and that is going to keep her occupied for quite a bit, which allows SPT to be a bit more aggressive towards the top of the map. The slide into the stun, on the other hand, from Nathanis definitely doesn't do well for him, and that could be a kill. Nathanis low again, the death call hitting him too, but he is able to just barely move out of harm's way as Sylvanas is starting to join with the rest of the team. Once again, bot lane, that's where we have the focus onto the blue team's Immortal right now, and they're immediately present to try and dissuade Boluo from going for the objective here. But the red team has actually started to take a lead in experience. It might be a small one for now, but that could get snowballed pretty heavily, and of course if it leads to an early level 7 talent for you during the second phase of the objective, that would give you a significant advantage over your opponent and maybe force a fight there. Howling Blast into the Tyrande stun, and Misaka is immediately in trouble. Has to back off, but gets a bit of assistance from the Immortal stun itself. On the other hand, top lane, Sylvanas has done work. Like, oh boy, he's actually going to get that fort. Poik just got the fort top lane with the help of the camp that they took earlier and the Sylvanas value, even with Artanis trying to defend. Now, on the other hand, Gia is in trouble, gets stunned out, and Nuborak is on the case. The halftime show is already being reached as the Immortals are repositioning. We see on the other hand, Reyna fall, and so does the old man old Chinese guy gets bullied by Swedish boys. Headline tomorrow in the news. Artan is also falling, which makes it a triple kill right here. And with those 3 kills under their belt, we're seeing Boluo focus on the Immortal immediately, without hesitation. They take the level 7 talent. Great setup right now for Boluo. Definitely into a really... I mean, definitely snowballing this in a really hard lead, because the top fort has been taken. Again, the observer hasn't shown it yet, but you can see it on the minimap. That Sylvanas value was already real, and all of that happened during the first Immortal phase. So the structural advantage for Boluo is insane right now. It's honestly insane. They are likely, with the help of Sylvanas, to get even the fort at the bottom of the map. Artanis is already sitting topside because they need level 7. They don't have level 7 yet. So they need that too, and without the talent, going up against the talent disadvantage, it's just bonkers right now. Here comes the play against the Nuburak. Misaka's in trouble, and Misaka goes down. Artanis is also not looking too pretty. I mean, they're again trying to just swap out, but that's the end of free show, and that's another double kill. That's another triple. Yeah, Jimmy is not gonna make it here, is he now? Chia is gonna slowly start hunting him down here. And actually ignores him for now. Instead, they're getting the value at the bot lane. They're saying, what are you going to do? Have to Hearthstone back anyway. So just look at this. They're going up against SPT. Again, this is SPT we're talking about right now. This is not some amateur team that has never played on a competitive level, that has never played professionally, and Boluo just murders them. They just took a 6-minute keep with Sylvanas, and they've taken both forts. Artanis goes down again. Boluo is shitting on them. This is actually crazy. Li Ming is down. Look at this. They are murdering them. Another quad kill as Deckard Cain and Reyna is down. And what is happening here? 9 kills against 0. Level 10 against level 7. And Boluo is just absolutely wrecking them. It's insane. This is honestly nuts. Boluo makes SPT's team currently look like an absolute amateur team. They make this look like quick match. And that is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. SPT has been destroying teams up to this point in the tournament. And at least in map number 1 right now, they are getting completely swept off the board. Up to this point. Heroic ability is more or less guaranteed. Boluo already another Immortal. SPT has to somehow hang on for dear life, try and get level 10, and then attempt to make a play once they are on even talents, or at least once they have heroics. Because I honestly don't know if we're going to see even talents for a long time here. The pace this is going, Boluo is very, very likely to hit level 13 soon. So this is a bit crazy. Sylvanas is just accelerating the pressure play right now, and they are exploiting the fact that they have Sylvanas in this lineup perfectly. They have an advantage to the heroic abilities, and immediately we're seeing them pushing. They're not even wasting any time in the middle. They're going for another keep here. And just answer me one question. How the hell is SPT supposed to stop this? They have absolutely no way of dealing with this. Not without heroic abilities, and they don't have that. Artanis is trying to get some bot lane value, but now they're going for a Nuburak, and a noob got wrecked. He's just completely down here, and that's the second keep down. Guys, we're 8 minutes in. We are 8 minutes into this game. We have 10 kills against 0, and every single major structure that SPT had is gone. Their states were showing this video isn't even legal, I think. This is honestly crazy. I did expect a lot coming into this series. I did not expect this. This is the only shot now that SPT has. They're so far behind, they can't even see the taillights of Boluo anymore. But this is the only chance that SPT has at this point to at least try and connect with them. The halftime show has already been won, but you now have to just flip the switch, go in, and they have to get kills. There's the attempt to force the fight. They have to. They got to. They're trying to go for Garrosh right now, and this is going to be absolutely insane. There we have it. Is Garrosh falling? No, but they're going for Nuburak again. He has the flip against Wooby. He's still alive. They're trying to lock them down. That didn't work out. Misaka too deep. is eliminated. They're trying to make the play for Gia. Gets saved by Whoopi. Nicely done. Li Ming and Deckard Kane both down. And Free Show is about to fall here too. They wipe the entire team. They wipe everybody. 15 kills against 0. That's an easy immortal with 95% shields. And this is game. This is gonna be absolutely game. I mean, I can't believe what I'm seeing here. Like, I was going into this, I was saying, okay, Boluo, they had a couple of easy games so far, they dealt well with it. Now they go up against SPT. Can they shift gears quickly enough to really take down the Chinese? And at this point, SPT, they just have to rethink the way they approach game number 2. Because what they're trying right now is definitely not working. I mean, Boluo is just absolutely toying with them here. They're murdering them. Here comes the last and final approach to turn this around. SPT goes in. They lose a Nubarak within the second. They're 3 levels behind right now. The stats disadvantage alone is just wrecking them. Poik is dropping with the help of Gia. Atanas, they're taking down Jimmy. The core is falling too. Boluo just absolutely clobbering SPT right now. And that's insane. Boluo with the lead. They take Battlefield of Eternity in the best of 3 series here at the Gold League. GG and well played. Game number 2. We just saw a spanking extraordinaire on Battlefield of Eternity. Now we're heading into Towers of Doom. Boluo is in the lead against SPT. It was a bit of a break between the 2 games. There are rumors that the Chinese had to apply some aloe vera to the burns that they just received on the first map. I used a little break to talk to Shrimpy real quickly and message him and said, like, dude, just calm down. What the hell are you guys doing? Just give them a chance at least. And he just replied and said, like, well, we kind of lost every single scrim. We don't know what's going on either, but that was easy. So let's see if SPT is able to come back into this. I expected a 3-mapper. I came into this and I said this is going to be a 3-mapper today, but nope. So far we're not going to see any of this. Is SPT going to be able to come back? That's a question. Zeratul is open again. Zeratul is open and doesn't get first pick. It's Tyrande instead. Zeratul Jaina is a combo that's available now. We have Samuro banned out. We all know about the Shrimpy shenanigans that Boluo sometimes pulls off with Samuro. We've seen it on Sky Temple. We've seen it a lot on Towers of Doom. Ana banned out, Tyrande picked, Malf open. And Anubarak gets taken away from Misaka too. Are we going to see the Zeratul setup? It's the question right now. You can go for the combo if you want to. And I know, they're playing with Poik on Sylvanas again. They really like that Sylvanas style. And Sylvanas finished the last game with 32,000 damage. Top damage in the game. Now again, unfortunately on the Unfurling Shadows I can't give you any information about the stacks because I just simply don't know. I rely on the same picture that you guys see, so I can't conjure up the stats or any of the stacks there. I hope that our observer is going to show this to us at some point if the game turns out to be a longer one. Here comes Misaka this time with Garrosh, a hero that he played in the HGC times quite a bit too, and we're having the burst damage on the side of Jaina now added to the lineup as well. With Sylvanas already chosen by Poik, it's not only about the damage in those teamfights, it's also about trying to gain map control after you win a teamfight. You just go in, you disable the bell towers, and you're trying to get the big control over that. So we'll see if that works out for them. Right now, we're having bans coming in, and it is Genji that gets banned out. Genji banned out. Side lane is something that interests me personally. I would say that we could see Dehaka, for example, on the side lane. Depends a little bit on 365, who's usually rocking that side lane. He's been playing a lot of Arthurs actually for the team. And then I want to know if Boluo goes into a triple melee setup again. If that's the case, you need another set of melee heroes that can actually provide quite a bit of damage. Here comes the Zeratul ban, a little bit late, but still could be comboed with Diablo. Probably the line of thought that SPT had there since they already picked Jaina away. We have also Li Ming open, we have Jimmy still open, pretty decent against Garrosh too, since the penetrating round can stop him from engaging in too deep. It can definitely help you. So, let's see, Tyrael. Alright, so we have Tyrael taken. And Dehaka, okay, 365 with Dehaka, as I said before. The global on the map definitely going to give them value. Let's see. We still need the last pick here, and Shrimpy doesn't have a hero yet, so we could still see something on the damage lines. Even Tracer is not out of the question, to be honest with you. Okay. Here come our last 2 picks for SPT. They need their offlaner, they need a bit more damage. Blaze comes in, nice. New skin too. And hammer time! Okay, time for a bit of a siege job with that nearly a hit point heavy frontline that they have right now. And again, we're looking over to Shrimpy. How is he gonna deal with this? Are they gonna try and go for a hammer counter? Li Ming can take aim at hammer. We've seen a lot of Junkrats against hammer, trying to control the position of hammer a little bit more with the mines. So that could work out too. In conjunction with that Sylvanas that they already have. They need one more map win. This could be it. And we're seeing them with Junkrat. Yes, indeed. It's going to be the mind play from them. Alright. SPT against Boluo. Game number 2. Towers of Doom is the map. And Boluo, they murdered game 1. They absolutely destroyed. I mean, I have never seen on this level a team dominating like this heavily. That was honestly crazy. But now we're going into game number 2 and we see if Boluo can do it again. Let's jump straight into Towers of Doom. Game number 2, ladies and gentlemen. Towers of Doom is the map, and SPT has a lot to do if they want to redeem themselves here. Especially, I mean, you have to consider this. This is actually still a region where we have a massive tournament. We have a major tournament there with an offline final. And the Chinese, of course, very, very proud people in general. And now they are looking at this and their team gets absolutely murdered. It's not that SPT lost. It's how they lost it. It's a bit of the issue here. So again, we have the Unfurling Shadows on Sylvanas. We are seeing the Haka in the game for the global control and the rotations between the mid and top lane. Blaze is going to mirror that as much as he can. But let's find out if Boluo can actually make this a quick 2-0 victory, or if SPT is now starting to show some teeth, fighting back into the series and forces the 3rd game. I definitely wouldn't object to having a 3rd game here, but yeah, game 1 was a display. That was a statement. That was honestly a statement. That was not only a victory, that was a massive statement made by Boluo. And let's find out if this is going to work out here, especially, of course, with hammer taken. We have the Junkrat counter pick. Melody C is already in trouble, and a lot more than I expected, but Garrosh, with the save, yes. That was close. Yeah, and it was actually Misaka who saved them. The last double stun that he had against the 2 heroes made sure they couldn't get another auto attack in. Sylvanas was trying to get enough damage through, but it didn't quite work out. But holy hell, that was something. That nearly started with an insta-kill against Jaina as the game began. So now we're starting to have a more of a normal setup on the map itself, as we're seeing top lane Dehaka taking his position. And at the bottom of the map, the 4-man, even the invade, as we're having a Boluo in a position where they're saying, okay, let's try and see if we can maybe even invade this. Misaka is low. He stays a little bit too long. Actually, in this case, Junkrat kind of saved him. Shrimpy was probably attempting to push him in a little bit deeper, but that little boop actually saved Garrosh's ass. Well, they at least got all of those, they got all of the pumpkins, and they are pushing them through right away down to the bot lane, and they're opening up that wall quite easily. One tower is still there. That, on the other hand, is a problem, and Shrimpy goes down. Shrimpy goes down, eliminated here as a counterplay. Also, we have enhanced agility taken on Dehaka, in case you were wondering about the level 1 talents here. So currently opting into the movement speed a little bit more, and tries, of course, to collect here the essence for his quest as well to get the additional one. So a little bit more of a race car built by him, not the tissue regeneration that you see most of the time these days. I'll play this time for Whoopi. I'm actually enjoying a lot of the Tyrael plays that we see recently, especially when you're looking towards the European scene and Team Russia, for example. Stork is playing such an aggressive hero that it's a lot of fun to watch his Tyrael performance. And obviously we're having Whoopi definitely in a position where he can showcase his own skills there too. It's still interesting to see him in the main tank role, but he has been playing it now for a bit. And obviously he does fantastic there too, which you probably already observed if you watched more of the Gold League matches that he performed in. Again, Sylvanas with possession as the level 4 talent. The Unfurling Shadows on level 1 will be stacked over time and should, towards the later stages of the game, give Poik an opportunity to get a bit more extra damage out. And this is really the moment where also Dehaka should start to get some value for his team. Jaina is actually very low here, so we have the exchange between the top left and top right bell towers, as you would usually see them. Here comes Dehaka as he burrows in. But he only offsets the balance for a moment. Isn't really able to do too much. We're still seeing Sylvanas trying to get away here. Sylph actually about to fall even. Poik is low and able to get out with the help of Bubi as he jumped in. The fight has shifted though, and Chia is dead. 2 kills against 0 as Boluo loses another hero. Nobody has taken the ult at the bottom of the map, but SPT is now starting to move in for it. So yeah, we are actually starting to see... Ooh, and that could be a 3rd kill, and indeed it is. Down goes Junkrat. SPT definitely fighting back. Okay. I'm actually happy to see it. They're not just rolling over and giving up on the game. Now they have taken the lead in experience. They have taken a small lead on the objective or on the core health, and on top of that they have taken the extra talent. So I'm already liking what I'm seeing here a lot more from SPT's perspective. They're definitely fighting back into this. That said, Boluo of course is going to unfold a lot of strength once they're hitting their level 10 ability. But I like the way that we are currently seeing SPT work around the stuns. To be honest with you, when we're talking frontline, I honestly don't think I would have banned out a Nuburak if I'm Boluo. Then again, I'm not privy to the scrims that they played against them, but Misaka's performance on the hero hasn't really convinced me. And just judging from his performance in the past, I remember Misaka's Garrosh being a lot stronger than his Nuburak. But then again, I always have to point out here that I'm not privy to the plays or to the scrims that Boluo has and had in the past. So that's obviously where they will have more information on this. But now we're actually seeing the kill coming in against Jaina. Finally, it didn't work out at the beginning of the game, but they're now getting that just as the next objective spawns. And look at the mid lane with Sylvanas value. Well, I mean, we can't look at it right now. Instead, it's again a kill against Shrimpy. The Shrimp Master needs to be a little bit more careful down there here. That particular setup with Garrosh just simply moving him into a stun from Tyrande has now happened multiple times. I think he actually died 3 times to this, and he really needs to be a bit more careful with it. But what I wanted to highlight, and you might have been able to catch it on the minimap, is that immediately after the kill against Jaina, we've seen Boluo move into the mid lane with Sylvanas and try to get some additional damage onto the structures, and I really like that. But Hammer has just sieged up at the bottom of the map. Dehaka is moving in for it. Now they're trying to actually gank up on that. And Hammer moves out, gets rooted, and gets dropped. Still got a lot of damage in. I would actually still kind of call that worth, to be fair. I mean, that bell tower at the bottom of the map is below 50% health. Hammer, yeah, could have maybe moved back a little bit sooner, but Dehaka used the global to come in for this one. They cut off all the paths of retreat. Talking about cutting things off, Shrimpy's again in trouble, trying to move away here. Jet propulsion comes in, here comes Garrosh, and that is Shrimpy dead again. That is death number 4 on Junkrat. Shrimpy is getting murdered in this game. They're homing in on him whenever they can. Bubi is running out of mana too. He's in trouble as well now. Good route from Gia. Can Malfurion keep Bubi alive? Nah. Not quite. I mean, if it isn't the streams, the fire streams here from Blaze, then it's going to be the ice shot from Jaina takes him down. But now with 6 kills against 2, both of the teams have access to their level 10 abilities. The big problem that we're seeing for Boluo is that bottom lane. That's where the bell tower is soon going to be taken out. Camp is already moving in. I actually think they could have moved in even a little bit more aggressively with the heroes instead of going for their camp right away, but they're probably going to make a move now. Melody C on his Jaina was also low on mana, so that was one of the concerns that they had here. Good top lane value from the camp, and also Sylvanas with a push, but they need to be careful of Blaze. I'm gonna set up down here, and Misaka is waiting in the shadows all the time. Alright, we definitely have a bit more of a match on our hands now. Level 10 abilities for both, which means obviously that they have to try and fight back at the bot lane. Late game again. Sylvanas, we can't look at the stats, but we can assume that Poik is doing what he can to get his Unfurling Shadow stacked up during those team fights. So if he's able to reach the late game with good value here, they might be able to get something out of it. Already getting the value topside, but they're losing both of those altars. That's 10 points. 10 points off the core. They're getting some topside value, but I honestly think they're a little bit late to the party here. They're gonna get this, or they should be. There's the taunt. The wave therefore couldn't be used. Bell tower is at least claimed, but Poik likely to fall. Is 365 able to burrow out? He's trying, and he gets away. Yeah, hashtag worth it. You lose Sylvanas, you're at least able to make a play there, and they're now going also for Hammer. They are really engaging hard into that. And they're gonna get the kill. So kill for a kill, and they get the bell tower, and the rotation actually allows them to take the bottom bell tower too. But SPT isn't really on the lazy end here either. They immediately start to move towards the boss to take that now. Yeah, so at this point, 18 hit points on the core for Boluo, 32 for SPT. The Chinese team has definitely taken the lead here, but Boluo now holds 5 bell towers. So they're trying to play around that as much as they can. Wooby checks that out. He's just a second too late. Can retreat, but that's of course 4 shots off the core again, and that puts it down to 14. So we're having SPT more than doubling the numbers, but they're starting to fall slightly, ever so slightly, behind in experience, which might eventually lead to an advantage for Boluo here, especially since they're obviously now also trying to put Poik again into a position where he can use his Sylvanas trade value to actually take down another structure, maybe even the bell tower at the bot lane. Will be okay. Bets out the stun here. Get safe. Fubi's just all over the place. The mobility that you see these days from Eldruin's Might with the talents here coming in on 13-4 is just absolutely awesome. It's a lot of fun watching this. Sylph moving in for the damage again. Heroic abilities are all up. Single altar on the bottom of the map. Both of the teams on level 14 any second. And with that, we're now starting to see another team fight. And this is one where Boluo really has to start and make a bit of play. And again, Junkrat is just getting dumpstered on. Shwimpy has now died, I think, 5 times? 6 times? It's honestly a bit crazy. Shwimpy is just getting picked off every single time they're engaging into a fight. He's having a very, very rough time here on Junkrat. It's not a fun game for him, for sure. Which honestly brings me to the point, would have been better for them to maybe go for Li Ming after all. That was another hero that I definitely had pegged as a potential pick for them, considering that it was the last pick. They needed damage and Hammer was chosen on the other side. But this isn't going well. The bot lane setup is pressuring their bell tower again, and this is one that you just do not want to lose. It gives your opponent too much control over the map itself. So now we have the pumpkins coming in too. That is very, very likely to take that down. Let's see if Poik can stop this. He's stopping it for now with a wave, but Misaka is already waiting. And it brings us also back to Misaka. I mean, his Garrosh play is just so much better than what we've seen on Anubarak in the last game. And I remember that even in HGC times, his Anubarak was always something that I heavily criticized because he was way too aggressive and put himself more than once into positions where he got immediately taken down and was too far out. But on his Garrosh, as you can see, he just provides kill after kill. They get another one. Here comes the Riptire attempt, and also there was just no sanctification. We didn't even have a chance to go for that. And SPT is definitely proving that game number 1 is not quite indicative of their general performance. They are redeeming themselves hard. They're not quite murdering Boluo the way that they were taken out in game number 1, but oh boy, are they currently showcasing that they are definitely a team that you have to have some respect for. 9 kills against 3, a level ahead, bell tower control completely set up thanks to the Sergeant, and now with a double altar on the map. You take 2 altars and the game's over. They have to take 2 altars and the game is over. Sylph is still sitting here at the bot lane, and yep, at this point, there's the double channel. They interrupt at the top as they're going free show. Okay, there's the exchange, 5 against 3, puts Boluo down to 5, single digits for them now. Isolation gets hit on Blaze. Actually, that is safe. Misaka again with a save right there. The bunker in the way, sanctification being used. Boluo has to fight here. They need to channel this through. They don't have 16 yet. Hammer's trying to get the interrupt and is able to do that. And Misaka is already waiting to throw someone else around. And he's homing in on the Haka. A Haka dodging out on the stun, but not on the taunt. And that is 365. Gone. Disappearing. Wooby still with the attempt at a zone. Great poke this time from Shwimpy, but it might be too little too late. They're already playing a 4 versus 5 here. They're trying. They can't lose out on the bell tower. They just simply can't. It's their last chance. Wooby again with the damage attempt here. Riptire comes in and nearly rips Melody C apart on his Jaina. They're starting to take the position again. 17, 16 seconds until the Haka is going to be back. Poik is low. Oh my god. Jumps out of the ult from Hammer and survives. Close call, but he makes it happen. Shwimpy still poking, but Whoopi goes down. Can he kill Melody C? No, he can't. Oh, it's spelling trouble. This is going to be the channel. They're going for the interrupt again. Poik is going for the in. Oh, they get at least one kill, but Sylph dies. Ken365 saved the day for his team. Shrimpy falls on Junkrat and so does Malfurion. It does not look pretty for the Swedish team. Nope. Boluo is going to lose this one. The altar gets channeled, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be game. We are heading in game number 3 as Boluo loses on Towers of Doom against an unleashed SPT at the Gold League. Game number 3, Volskaya Foundry is our upcoming map. SPT kind of redeemed themselves a little bit on the second map, and now we're heading into the final map of the best of 3 series here. Now, the way this works right now, after the initial rounds of the tournament, we headed into groups, and this is actually a group that is being played out right now, and SPT and Boluo find themselves in the winner bracket final of that group, so to say. Now, the victor of this particular map now goes on to the round of 8, the final round of 8 that will be held offline. The loser, on the other hand, still has a chance in the lower bracket of said group to make it towards the offline final. So no matter who loses here, we won't be out right away as we're getting into the draft. Also, again, keep in mind, if you're actually watching this entire match here on YouTube and you enjoy the video, make sure that you hit that like button and hit that thing hard. Helps with the YouTube algorithm, helps to promote the video a little bit, and also shows me that you're still interested not only in Heroes of the Storm but also Gold League content here. Ana at this point, ban out, again as we've seen previously. We have Maiev at this point, traditionally banned out. Again, the Genji ban. The consistency with which Boluo bans out Genji just lets me to believe that they had in scrims pretty bad experience going up against Genjis. Because when you're looking at the solely European experience in the Nut Cup, Division S, Meta Madness and others, Genji hasn't really played a big role there. He's still picked, but he's not really first rotation ban material anymore in most of the cases. Now, I'm more so interested at where Garrosh lands, because I could have totally seen a ban against Garrosh from the perspective of Boluo. But we're seeing SPT at least value to Rounder to such an extent that they're saying, okay, now that we don't have the first pick, we're actually going to ban her out because we don't want her to be in the hands of our opponent. Boluo has first pick, first ban, which also means that SPT had map choice. So it is their map that is being played right now. But what's going to be the first choice here from Boluo? Okay, so they're going straight for Malfurion. With both Ana and Tyrande banned out, they're going into support picks first. SPT very likely to get a support now in the first rotation themselves, or Boluo has a chance to limit the pool even more. Rhaegar is a hero that we see a lot. I mean, then again, thinking about it, China, as I said before, outside of them also saying, okay, the meta heroes are strong, they usually have still a couple of picks that you don't see as much in other regions. And so they don't let that, they don't go for that actually. We have Misaka as a Nubarak again, he got banned out in the previous series. And I said that I think his Nubarak is oftentimes a little bit too aggressive and goes in a bit too deep. That was the case in game number 1 too, but he has now a perfect opportunity to prove me completely wrong here and just wreck the opponent. Nubarak is still an amazing hero, obviously. I mean, he's one of the top tanks at this point. But therefore also no Garrosh in their hands. The pick rotation for Boluo then again. Are we going to see a Tracer play this time? No, they are sticking it out. They're actually sticking it out with that Sylvanas. Third time in a row now that Sylvanas is being played by Boluo. Poik is just homing in and one-tricking that hero hard in this series. But Shrimpy has now started to shift over into Jaina, which of course also eliminates that as a potential pick on the other side. Now if you look at that Nubarak, normally Nubarak wants to have some follow-up damage that has burst available to it. Could maybe even see a Liming being played by SPT now. The interesting part is though that we are not seeing that Sylvanas or Malfurion setup that usually follows. I like the ban against Hammer, pretty good ban on their end now, eliminating that too. But I really want to see what support SPT picks to be able to deal with this. They played Deckard Cain on the first map, and if they really believe that Deckard Cain is a hero that is currently undervalued by other teams and should have a bigger place in the meta, this would be a good map for Deckard Cain too. He can do a lot with those seals around the control points. It's Stukov. They go for Stukov. A little bit old school, but I like that. Stukov Oriel. Okay. Are we gonna get a Vala with this? Is that gonna be a Lunara setup? I mean, you need a battery for Oriel, and that could be a Vala play there, but I did not see that coming at all. A Stukov Oriel to keep everyone alive here. SPT coming in with this. There's the Arthas for 365 again. He likes that. And Whoopi on Stitches. Alright. Chef Stitches is in their house. And now what's the hyper carry? They need a hyper carry right now. Who is it? Traditional ones would be Lunara and Vala. I guess you could play Cassia at some point, but why would you? I'm sure I'm forgetting a couple here, but those would be the picks that immediately come to mind for me personally. And what's the choice? SPT. Final pick. Voila! They go for my girl here. Game number 3, ladies and gentlemen. Volskaya Foundry is coming up to determine which of the two teams is going to claim victory in the best of 3 series here at the Gold League. Let's jump straight into the game. The final map, Volskaya Foundry, and SPT goes into a double support setup. It is their map choice, and they believe in the power of Stukov and Oriel. The engage of the Nubarok, of course, still powerful, especially with the lurking arm follow-up, and that's exactly the build that Stukov is already starting to spec into with his level 1 talent. Then again, on the other side, we're seeing once more Sylvanas, and of course, if you are able to claim that Protector, whew, can you start doing damage and work here. Stitches so far hasn't really made his choice on the level 1 yet. Malfurion also still trailing behind a little bit. Not really the most globe-heavy map that we're seeing here, so we're not seeing the Hungry for More that we've seen quite a bit in previous games. But instead we're having the Patchwork Creation. Definitely going to help out with keeping him alive, and he needs to have that setup. I mean, it is one of the main damage, or the main tanks at the front line, obviously. For me personally, the question is just simply how much work can Vala really do here? Double support has fallen out of fashion quite a lot. We see it occasionally, but not that much. A great trap here for the rotation. Waiting for the rotation, the trap is there, and the hook is as well, and Melody C goes down. Thrall can try to wiggle his way out of this as much as he wants. With this many heroes already being in position, he just doesn't have a chance there. And I like this a lot. There's other teams that would have gone for the safe rotation if they don't have vision on the map, but in this case, Thrall assumed he'd be safe, and nothing could have been further from the truth. So that's a quick kill as Thrall falls. And yeah, with that, they're already starting to set the pace for the game here. Obviously, we're also going to have a closer look at how exactly Shrimpy is doing here. He had a very tough game on Junkrat on map number 2, but he kind of delivered a lot on the first one, so let's see how this is going to end. They have a really, really beefy setup at the front. The Arthur's offlane is something that 365 has been playing a lot. And he's been doing incredibly well with it too. They decided in favor of the Haka on Towers of Doom just to have the additional global, which never really came too much into play. But on this map they're deciding more into something that caters to the objective a lot better with that particular lineup here. Whoopi is of course going to threaten those hooks whenever he can, but it's going to be difficult later to break through the double support. One of the most annoying things with double supports, which is also one of the reasons why the double support meta for a long time was quite hated in the community, was always that you see oftentimes very little kills happen because it's quite difficult to get any kills in. So that is something to definitely keep in mind as we are progressing here, since obviously when you're fighting for the objective, you really you need that sustain, and that's something that with a double support you definitely have. The question then is, you also have the damage on the other hand. Repeated offense, the quest talent has been taken by Oriel as a level 4 talent. Talking quest, Thrall is going into his Frost Wolf pack, and Arthas is going down. So now we have SPT not only getting a kill on their own, but also claiming the healing beacon here. And double support can be an issue with this. I feel later on when we're having the Wailing Arrow on the side of Sylvanas, that has to play a huge role with this too, just so that you have a good chance of interrupting the flow of the double support a little bit. And oh my god, we're actually seeing the noob trap activated with Creed of the Hunter being picked for Vala. Now with a double support you can actually make an argument that that talent is going to give you value, and there is a beefy frontline at the top. Let's see how much we're going to get from these auto attacks. And right now Vala is just stacking like a madman. Since we're seeing still Sylvanas, oh sorry, it's actually Jaina at the top, Vala is going to get those stacks together. Now this is actually a talent that I have been criticizing in the past heavily, simply because it's incredibly difficult to get any value out of it. But the way this is going right now, they might, with a double support, just be able to get enough value out of it to really body those two frontliners. Because once that we're seeing level 13 and 16 coming into play, and Vala completes the talent, they can actually take these two hit point heavy heroes down quite easily. And Jesus, Poik just gets absolutely slapped around here. This is all of a sudden looking quite grim, to be honest with you. I mean, Vala is currently supported from 2 supports here, and that auto attack damage is going to do a number. Interestingly enough, we're not seeing Death Dealer though, which is oftentimes what you're trying to go for if you're speccing into an auto attack build, but we're still having the multi-shot variation on the level 7 talent taken now. So with that said, we're now also having once again the potential auto attacking speed increase later on level 16 for Oriel. Here's the first protector. It's already a bit of bad news, but as you can tell, Boluo has kind of given up on that in the early stages. I really get the feeling that right now Boluo just looked at the draft and said, okay, listen guys, they have a double support, they have a Vala behind this, they're having also decent front line. If we try and go for the first objective, we are very unlikely to get anything done here, simply because they are just outmatching our sustain completely. We don't have that burst damage yet that we need to deal with that situation, so let's try and find value on the off lanes, give them the first objective, just poke around it a little bit, and then focus onto the fights later on when we have level 10 abilities and can actually start killing something. To me personally, that really seems what's going on here, because they never really had a big fight for the middle. They poked and prodded a little bit, but they never heavily committed into the fight on the objective itself, and with the double support on the other side, that seems to be really the main reason. There comes the stacking for Poik as he starts to move in and tries to get a number on Melody C here. They can't get the kill with that little gank attempt. Thrall by now has also completed his Echo of Elements. Bit late, but still, 5 minutes in, he got the objective, so not really a problem for him. But the one thing that hasn't happened, by the way, is SPT taking down the top fountain. They got very, very little value out of that first protector. You could argue that they basically didn't get anything done with that thing. I mean, oftentimes, what are we usually saying? The minimum that you want to achieve is to take out either a fort somewhere, or at least take down the fountain at the top lane, so that for the second objective you have an easier time. Now you look at the mid lane, they haven't broken through the entire wall, they only dropped the turret, the same picture at the top if I'm not mistaken. And therefore, that protector, I mean, there's an expression that we have in professional circles for it. The protector just didn't do jack shit. So we even have the lead still on the side of Boluo, and with the level 10 abilities, they're actually making the play now also for the beacon. And I think the rotation for SPT is a little bit low. Yeah, it's very slow here. Cocoon comes in. Arthur's is already saved, and he has the beacon. They're still trying to make the play here, and there's the save from Oriel as she drops the Aegis to save Anubarak here. Army had to be committed to as well, but that so far didn't really go SPT's way. I mean, Anubarak tried to delay the fight, force it so that the rest of the team can rotate in, but that was just slightly too late, and this is starting to look pretty... It's a little bit more difficult. So the gamble actually worked out. I mean, Boluo giving up the first protector, it worked for them so far. And again, can they get the kills? It's a bigger question right now. Vala has not completed her level 4 talent just yet. And again, we're going to keep eyes on that. Normally the problem with the talent is that you just complete it so late in the game that it doesn't really play a big role. And it is one of the most important talents to take, of course. Goes into Strafe too. Now we have interrupts against that on the side of Boluo, but still trying to go for the extra damage here. Not really worried about the stun and the control they already have with Stukov and Anubarak and of course Thrall, other heroes that can fit that build. Melody C is actually getting attacked down here at the bottom, and that's not the only thing. That rotation with Sylvanas is probably going to take down the fort. And these are those moves that we've now been seeing from Boluo a couple of times. And that's an easy fort take, and you know what that also does? It preps objective 3. It preps for the third objective, since now there's no fallback option anymore for SPT and no fountain either. Whoopi is holding the top lane as much as he can, trying to defend the fountain of course too, but this one is going to fall. In the meantime, we're having item control being absolutely high on the agenda for Boluo. They moved down to the bottom of the map and took the turret away from their opponent. They're also now in a situation where they are having nearly level 13. So I gotta admit, they're trading that fountain topside for a lot of value at the bottom of the map and from the objectives perspective. Now Vala is still trying to stack as much as she can against Stitches. We're having turrets now on the side of Boluo, 2 in their hands and the healing beacon, so the item advantage goes to them and the advantage in terms of experience too. So right now we're actually having the objective, I mean not taken, but Boluo is starting to get a great position here. Honestly, it'd be quite interesting to see how this is going, because SPT had, in my opinion, a pretty good start into the game, especially with the first Protector. But if you don't even manage to get more than 2 turrets with Protector number 1, you know that something isn't really going well. And from a structural perspective, Boluo is now already ahead. It's all about 13 right now for SPT. They want to have 13, they need even talents. I'm missing the stun here against 365. Doesn't really help. Hook attempt again. Root is there. Just didn't connect here for them. And Shrimpy, or at least Ruby, is holding this for as long as he can. Okay, there it is. 13 on both sides. Now we're talking. That's the moment when it comes down to the wire. The damage against Sylvanas. Good damage actually from Poik already from the unfurling shadows. They're trying to make the play for Melody C, but Thrall moves away and Stukov immediately pushes them out. Cocoon gets used, blown apart. We're having the Aegis already being used there too. The arrow from Sylvanas with a waiting arrow, but Sylph is down, and that's the kill that they need at SPT with a 5 versus 4. But Anubarak gets wrecked again. 365 is low, and he gets dropped too. There's still a few turrets in their hands, but now the chase is on as they're trying to make the play at the hook and the kill. Melody C goes down, Thrall eliminated, and we are talking 3 versus 3. The double support and Vala are still there. Ice block from Shrimpy, and the hyper carry is down. They take her down, and now they're trying for more, of course. The root gets dodged, though. Boluo loses early on in the fight a hero, but now they're about to claim the Protector here. Well done by them, turning that around, and the hooks just absolutely real. Great play by Shrimpy this time, too. Making sure that they're baiting in Vala, ice blocking the damage, turning it around and bursting her to pieces. Shrimpy still alive here and gets all the assistance that he currently needs from Gia on the support. Poik is already taking a camp, and right now they're of course looking to push this even more. In comes the jump as they're moving to the top lane. The lead more than a level by now for Boluo. It's been a hard-fought series here with an absolute insane game number 1, and then SPT of course turning things around here, forcing the third map. But right now Boluo is starting to take the advantage. Mid lane getting attacked now too, and they're trying to push a wedge between the members of SPT here. That top lane is definitely going to fall. The fort is going to fall. Not going to make a claim for the keep just yet. But with the fort down, they cannot rotate into the middle. And Nubarak is sitting there. There's the jump immediately, just anticipating that already. Locking him down to Misaka. Gets away for now, but here's the pressure play in the middle right away. Once again, trying to get the Sylvanas value. The 16 talents are ready. They're giving them another power spike, and they're trying to look for another kill here. Misaka moves away and survives, but the fort doesn't. Fort down, another 5 seconds on the Protector allows them to get another couple of those spells through. They're looking for another turret. Quite able to get that in, but that is Boluo now with 6 kills against 4. 16 versus 14, and they're starting to claim the items again. Big hook, and big damage. They're trying to make the play for Thrall, and he gets away. No, he does not. Thrall is down, and Nubarak is dead as well. Another big hook coming out from Wubi, but this time gets dodged. They're starting the chase against Stukov, and Stukov is dead. Vala gets actually connected with a Howling Blast, but they're already starting to rotate down to the bottom. It is Sylvanas time, baby, and she is already disabling the first turret as they're going for the keep at the bot lane. Prepping for objective number 3. Hooking Oriel and just blowing her apart here. Shrimpy has said that they had tough times in the scrims, but you couldn't tell just watching their performance in game 1 and 3 so far. 2 levels ahead, 4 kills ahead. Boluo with the plays at this point, prepping for the third objective, looking to get closer to level 20 now as well, and getting items on the map. Vala, I think, has not completed her level 4 talent yet either. I might have missed it, but I don't think I have. So with Creed of the Hunter not completed yet, that also means that that talent just hasn't given the value that they were looking for. And Vala therefore missing out on quite a bit of that damage up to this point. This is an insane one. This is honestly a bit of an insane one. The game isn't over yet, but that lead-in structures is crazy for the team in red. And they are, of course, looking to end this without any problem whatsoever. They still have to be careful. You have that virulent reaction on the side of Stukov to lock you down after Nubarak's initial engage. There are level 16 talents right now. That gives us the Alpha Wolf as well. Again, hook attempt, this time not connecting. Quest completed for Arthurs here. We're seeing them move out once more. And it's a 2.5 level lead nearly. Yeah, and with this, again, we have to definitely see if this is going to work out regarding level 20. Because 1.5 levels away, you might be able to get that for the third objective. You kind of should be able to make that play. And Misaka, they're still going for it right now. Bala apparently is actually done. Has also the level 16 talent right now, so the auto attack damage is definitely going to increase heavily if she's able to go up against someone like Stitches or Arthur. So they definitely have to be a little bit more careful about her. But I would also expect that we have Sylvanas at this point in time with quite a few stacks on the level 1 talent. Now again, unfortunately we can't show it. It's still a clean feed. I don't have the control over the observing here. Would love to have a bit of an idea of where we're sitting with Sylvanas, because Poik is definitely getting decent damage out in these fights. Now, just have a look at the experience. 19 against 17. You can take the fight, you can delay it. How are they going to play it here? We have level hook again. That definitely scratched the tunic of Thrall a little bit. And they're actually starting to fight this now. They're still delaying it where they can. They know that they can go for level 20 and just simply rotate someone into the mid lane and wait it out. And this seems to be exactly what Boluo is doing at this point. So, yep, we're having them currently with one wave after another taken apart. CE's 365 even thought about going top lane. He's going all the way in the middle towards the left to catch another minion wave. They're so far out here, they're saying like, guys, we need something. And they need to make that engage soon. So he goes in, gets the experience. Yep, has to go back. Again, they're forced into the fight. 80%. That's what we're talking about. And there's the 20. They're starting to make the play. Wooby needs to be careful. Bala is too far away, but now starts to get the damage in. Devour has already been used. They're trying to make the play, but Oriel with the Aegis. Oh, in comes Sylvanas. Has to jump out. Everybody is low. But Shrimpy might fall first. He ice blocks the damage, and both of the supports are eliminated as Sylvanas goes to town. They drop Thrall. They 5-man team wipe them right there. And that is going to be game. They're not even wasting time with a Protector. Why would you go for that? They waited for the 20. They made the smart play. 13 kills against 4 now. They got the Storm talents, and now they're simply pushing their way through. Poik is murdering it here together with Shrimpy, who had a fantastic game, redeeming himself for the second game on Towers of Doom. And this is going to be the big victory at this point. Fantastic performance by Boluo as we are seeing them claim victory on Volskaya Foundry and therefore decide the best of 3 at the Gold League in their favor against SPT. GG and well played as the Swedes advance.